Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of TFT Study Hall with your TFT Academy hosts. My name is Frodan.
And I'm Dishsoap.
And we are back for 14.6. It is the middle of June already. And believe it or not, it's actually the beginning of the end. This is one of the last two patches that we'll be covering on our podcast. Sorry, missed the previous one. We were just elbow deep in EWC. And then Dishsoap got sick traveling. I think, and actually, you got sick going to a hockey game, your first Carolina Hurricanes game, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's really what caused it, but like, because I went to it like a week before I even got sick. So.
Okay. Well, either way, a cautionary tale of what happens when you go outside and you stop playing TFT. So
Unlucky.
sorry about that. So he lost like his voice, and so we couldn't really do that episode. But we're back and we're ready to cover 14.6, which a handful of things have changed, even though is kind of a light touching. It was supposed to be a light touching patch, but some pretty big changes happened. So we wanted to cover that in depth. To start things off, though, wanted to sort of go over the patch itself. So to start things off, we're going to go in hot and heavy and talk about the loot systems change for 14.6. So this says that stage 2, 3, 4 PV rounds are now generally more consistent. We'll always drop some items and more gold. The total average item count from PvEs has increased, so we're going to get more items again. Perhaps the item recession is starting to be over now. And then the average gold count from PV rounds has decreased, with the note that Scuttle Puddle and Crab Reef now give +1 component, because they were saying, I think more does say, quote, it didn't feel very special or very interesting. It was just a little bit extra gold. So I want to first ask Dishsoap, have you felt this impact of the loot system changes? Because this has one of the biggest ramifications of how just each game feels.
I guess like I felt it in the sense that like I haven't really noticed like the games feel like a little bit more similar, which I think is good. But like it's not really something you can like notice unless you're like directly comparing it like exact like neutral drops or whatever. But I think it's overall pretty good change. Like this is basically exactly what I was asking for when they announced the first thingy. Because in my opinion, like the main problem was like the gold inflation rather than the items. So I mean, this is fine. I do think that there are still a lot of like way too wacky moments for my liking with these like hacked orbs, and like to a lesser degree the gold and prismatic orbs, but it's mostly the hacked orbs because those I think show up way more often. Where you just go from like 20 to making 20 to like making 60. Like those, I'm still really not a fan of that, but I don't know. Overall, this is just fine.
Yeah, from my understanding, you get a little bit of gold and then like one item guaranteed per creep round. And what ends up happening is there's going to be some creep rounds where you don't really get a lot of gold at all. Like I've been actually keeping track, and on average, I get like 2 to 3 gold from like Krugs now, or like the end of stage 2, as opposed to like the 10 that you can get, but you get no items. And so that kind of swing has not really been felt nearly as much. But other than that, I guess I find myself taking more econ augments now, like at the beginning of the game again, as opposed to like feeling like I have to take items to compensate for that. Have you been feeling that on your end at all?
I'm not gonna lie, I've just been taking pretty much the same stuff.
Okay, as the previous like patch.
Yeah, I like I don't know. I really felt like I've been like that broke because like even if it's like I think the amount of games where you get like no injection of resources from Portal, Hacked Orb, Gold Orb, Priz Orb, or like the random like split or no split things is like very low. I think it's probably like sub 10%. So I feel like most games you're probably not gonna be that broke if you like don't go crazy.
Sure, fair enough. I think that some people might be spoiled by the previous amount of gold given, though, especially some of the amp players or some of the people who just love to go fast 9 and try to roll it down, praying for the Zac and stuff.
I have no thoughts for the people that think that this is not enough gold. I can't even start. Like this is like compared to like even like set 10, which was also like insanely inflationary compared to the past. It's like still 9-day, so I don't really understand.
Okay, fair enough. There's a change to the 2-star encounter, lowered the odds of seeing a 2-star champion in the early game. This is just pretty much good, just to make sure, like, make it less swingy. So no real thoughts about this encounter on my end.
Yeah, we need there needs to be more testing done. I really wish they would like tell us how this hidden roll stuff, because on the previous patches with this encounter, you could just load up into 3-1 with your entire 3-star 1-cost board, like very very consistently. We tested our 4v team tested this on like 4v0 games, and like every time we got this one, we played it out, and like every single time all 4 of us were able to hit like basically every single 3-star 1-cost on 3-1 no matter what with this encounter, like with multiples. It seemed like just like you could teleport to them for free.
Yeah, I think the odds behind the 1-cost seem enormously high compared to some of the other ones. And I think it's because it might be tied to your level, but it also could be like the way they did almost like chosen odds, if that makes sense. Which makes me think it was because it feels like it's the chosen system just without the headliner itself. So it could be like heavily skewed towards 1-cost in that sense.
And like a lot of people said it was like tailored, and to me it seemed like it was like almost always tailored, but there were still some times where like, for example, like I was rolling for Gorilla Reroll and I see like a random Skarner as like my upgrade. Right. It was like, okay, why did I see this one Skarner and then like 9 of the other units that I actually needed? Like, can we just get some? I was asking Ryan for some clarification about this. I guess this is the best we could do, but I don't know. Like, I don't really know why they won't tell us. Like, are they just afraid we're gonna exploit the system or something? Or
yeah, they probably just don't want people to game it out, and then all of a sudden it's just optimal to do like X. Same thing as probably obscuring augment stats, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that was not the case.
Okay. Some changes to items. Spirit Vision's buff, Stairs Gate nerf, Void Staff buff. The stats actually like moved a little bit. Has any of these items moved considerably in your mind, either up or down?
I used to think that like Visage was like completely trash. I would never make it, and now I make it, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
I think you still make Sterak's in the same spots you make Sterak's, but now you're like probably not gonna put this on your frontliner instead of a real tank item, which like was like sometimes correct. And it's also like, yeah, you're not just putting Sterak's on units that really shouldn't have Sterak's, but it's still a good item on the units that want it. And Void Staff is like no diff.
So that's a light intro into what the patch notes were given, both in the systems and some of the items. But let's go ahead and dive into the meta tier list itself and talk about some of the trends happening. All right, so with the tier list itself, we have 1.5 comps in S tier. We'll talk about which one is which in a sec here. We have a pretty dense A and B tier, and then a couple of stragglers in C tier that can make its way into the top 4 if you have the right conditions. So let's start at the very top. The best comp in the game, Exotech. They finally did it, man. They buffed it like 2-3 patches in a row, just kept making 7 Exotech better and better, and now we're here, and it feels like Exotech and I guess like Marksman is just like you see a lot of people just angling that every game. I usually see 3 to 4 people per lobby trying to slam some kind of like Rage Blade and play into it. What exactly makes Exotech super strong in your opinion?
I think you just get an ungodly amount of stats for putting an item on your Exotech units. I forget the numbers, but it really is some ungodly amount for every component at 7, and then you just end up like stat checking people. I think that's last patch. I think it's like I think it actually might be like 330 and 13 or something, some ungodly number.
It is 300 HP per item, and that can be activated through a component.
Yeah, you just end up stat checking people, and then Kraken is basically like the item that like solves their issue of doing no damage. So I don't know the comp. Like my hot take is I actually played a game of just raw X7 Exotech like the night before the patch came out. I was like, oh yeah, might as well just try it. Let's see how we what we're gonna be playing tomorrow. And then like I won the game like before the patch even came out, and I was like, oh, people maybe are just not playing this. I don't really know why it needs that big of a buff. And then I really hope they at least if not revert it, like at least tune it down like significantly. I just think it got overbuffed. And like you're probably not gonna win the game if you don't hit like some emblem setup or like some crazy item, whatever, with like Ango 9. But the 1-star board is like really, really stable on stage 4, and that's pretty much all you need to like top 6, even on like the worst low rolls possible. And if you can play this from win streak and high roll, like it's pretty safe top 3.
Yeah, really good with a bunch of emblems as well. So we know trade tracker is
Yeah, trade
good. I
tracker
see a
is
lot of people
crazy.
take more flexible, right, and people making use of a lot of emblems in that sense. Just really strong with these item augments. So if you get a good spot for it, give it a try. There's also a handful of artifacts that you could use really well. I think by now people know about like Unending Despair Mordekaiser being really powerful, but Flicker Blade's still insane on Zeri, helping you hyper carry. Speaking of being really stable on 1 star, that's just such a star artifact for this composition.
Yep.
Is MF Zeri kind of dead?
Yeah,
I feel like no one's playing it anymore.
I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe if you don't get Exotech emblem, you play this comp, but you don't. You just carry the like. I would rather just carry Jin and MF or Jin and Zeri than MF and Zeri now. So I think A tier is a little outdated. We should probably either like hide it or put in like low B or I don't know. It's probably doesn't deserve a C tier combo. Like I just don't see a reason to play this instead of 7 Exotech, because 7 Exotech is way cheaper and it's stronger. So
Yeah, that's right. I think it's like one of those things where Jin's actually pretty good again. They buffed him considerably. And so he's not exactly at peak at the set. At this set, he was actually performing like as well as your duo carry for 4 cost when he was really OP. But he's still really solid now as an early game holder and even in late game scenarios.
yeah, he puts in the work.
Okay, the other comp that we have is Amp. You said this, you weren't sure if this comp actually belonged in the S tier. I mean, part of it is because you're talking about how often it was contested, right? If it's uncontested, it's just clearly like blowing everything out.
Yeah,
but that doesn't really happen pragmatically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, everyone knows if you play Econ Augment into uncontested Amp, maybe hit like a little rejuice cipher in the mid game, like you're probably on your way to a free first. But most of the time that doesn't happen. A lot of times you like roll up into 4-1 and you're not like extremely rich. You might miss something on the roll down and fight a couple of high rollers and you find yourself in the bot 2. And then often like you have to like stay on 8 for way too long to even hit your 2 stars because you're just gonna throw away Amp lobby for fun because it's the end of the set. People just want to play the first or 8th comps. So it's like in like a real game scenario in like your average ladder game, this is probably not performing at an S tier level. I will say I think the stats on this comp are like actually like a lot worse than they should be, because I think at least looking at the data sites, a lot of people are like playing the wrong version of this board. Like 63% of the time people play Amp, they end the game with Ziggs. I don't think it is ever correct to end the game with Ziggs unless you go level 10. But the problem with going level 10 is that you would rather just roll a 9 for Zac blobs. So the only time you should play Ziggs in this comp is if you hit Samira on 8 and you miss Viego, or if you never find Zac, you end up playing Garen on your level 9 and then you go 10 for Ziggs, which I think should be like 5% of the time or less. But 63% of the time people are like playing like Ziggs. People play more games of Kobuko than Viego. I promise you, like for people listening, if you like want to see results of this comp, just play Viego, Zac almost every time. If you don't find early Zac, you can play Garen over Zac, but it's like legit always Viego. And if you don't find Samira, it's really important to play Mundo plus either Alistar or Gragas on your level 8. Like extremely important because it's the cheapest and it's like way stronger than anything else you could play. It's way stronger than Brand Ziggs, and Brand Ziggs is just super expensive. So like I do think this comp is a little sus to play on ladder just because of how contested it is, but I do think the data on it is way worse than it should, because I don't think people are playing it right.
Okay. Even if you have a strategist emblem, you would
No,
never go
no,
5 strat. I see people pick it up all the time off care.
No, I mean you just play 4 strat. Like this Viego unit is way too good. Yeah.
Great, good to know.
And he's also really important for like blocking the sedge. Because there's a lot of there's so many street demon positions that literally requires Viego to block the sedge, or else your whole team is getting sedged. If you didn't know, like Viego, when he casts, if you put him in front of the sedge and the sedge targets the Viego, if your Viego casts first, their sedge will try to track it and then up like ulting like backwards a lot of time. It's like really important. There's like so many street demon positions where it's impossible to dodge sedge outside of that interaction. And with Exotech in the meta, it's like you must play him.
Yeah. So just make sure that Sejuani is attacking the Viego. That's the most important thing. She'll just ult whoever she's attacking. So that's actually the key to every positioning, right? When we do like the anti Sejuani, A5 positioning with bottom right, that's the same concept. Speaking of how people use the position round. This is a composition that likes to position round Sejuani a lot, although Marksman Vanguard has gotten a tiny bit of a facelift. It's actually playing 6 Vanguard now. Give me some thoughts. Is this comp for real? People, I hear a lot of people. Wage Iverson's talking about he prefers 6-2. Preston was talking about he prefers 6-2 over 4-4. Right? We have both because
Mhm.
I think it looks similar in performance in the stats.
Yeah,
Do you have a preference?
it literally performs identical in the stats. I got to get more reps under my belt, but if I were to assume when you're supposed to play either, it's like I think you're probably supposed to play 6 Vanguard if you're like playing around like upgraded Skarner and like Brahms in the mid game, your stage 3 or whatever, and then your stage 4 roll down. And you might be meant to play 4-4 if you have like Jinx 2 Gen 2. But given the power of 6 Vanguard and how like often you can take like Vanguard Emblem early and then just play 6 Vanguard in the mid game, you might just be in the spot to play 6 Vanguard more if the power level is similar. Because
Dude,
like the
look at this Vanguard buff, man.
yeah
48% HP is crazy.
it's nasty. I think they should definitely change this as well. Kog'Maw is kind of like Kog'Maw can't win, but it's kind of like just taking over. Like there's just a lot. There's just a lot of like free Kog'Maw top fours. The comp is just like completely brain dead. So
yeah, and we show you like in a scenario of what happens if you 3-star everything, but you actually don't have to. You just basically 3-star Kog'Maw, 3-star a tank that's reliable enough, and you just get 6 Vanguard, and your front line just doesn't die. Especially if you go up into anybody that's playing 4-cost comp and they don't hit their 2-star, you just completely overwhelm them. And then because it's also one of those things where it has kind of an overwhelming amount of defense slotted, you actually win really hard. So you're like dealing 5-0, 6-0 to your opponent. So you're dealing max damage to them. And this comp drives tempo of most lobbies. It's basically like there's a phase of the game where like you're gonna get punished by Kog'Maw, not in stage 3, but also in stage 4 because you just aren't able to keep up with it. So if you are playing from like a mid roll or low roll position, this composition is so fearsome. It doesn't win, but it just feels like it's guaranteed like 3rd, 4th, or 5th in some kind of placement range there.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of comp like these. It's like, I mean, I guess it's just kind of similar to Morgana, but like at least Morgana had like the mini game of like, oh, am I gonna pop you or like. So like there's like a little bit of like there's a little bit of brain power being used, and also like I mean sometimes with Morgana you played like 4-4 or something.
Sure.
But this one, it just feels so face roll, and like you don't change anything, and it's like
Couple notes. Kog'Maw's best in slot I saw was double Kraken the stats, so I updated that accordingly. Is that legit, or is there actually a better build?
I mean, I can see it. Yeah, it would either be double Kraken or like GS. Yeah, there's not really that many items that would like pop off that much of them. Like maybe the new Strikebreaker, but.
And then my other question is, there's someone who was posting a guide about it and said that Shred is still like something that's helpful for the boom bot damage. I tried watching it myself, and what ended up happening was my Spark holder would die, actually, because the way it, like a lot of the fights would happen in the late stage of the game would be like your main tank and Kog'Maw are the only 2 things alive. And so Kog'Maw would then ramp up and deal his boom bot damage. So we do a lot of magic damage, but I can't tell how impactful things like magic resistant shred is for the boom bot. So is it actually valuable in your opinion?
I mean, if you could make Shiv, I would feel fine putting Shiv on my rapid fire unit, but I think Void Staff is going to end up not hitting enough units. And the thing about this boom bot damage is that it doesn't really like it can hit like anything on the enemy board. Like it's not necessarily going to be in your Spark range. So like, and Spark is really the only reliable MR shred you can actually get. So I kind of disagree with that assessment. I guess if like I'm making a random Spark late game, I'm not going to feel that bad about it, but I don't think it's like important.
All right, we talked about high cap compositions, how it feels like people were playing for first. This is a composition that actually got popular last patch while we were taking a bit of a break and you were sick. Graves reroll with Golden Ox, playing around 4 Golden Ox and some amount of Diviner Core. It usually splashes depending on what you're hitting. And perhaps most importantly, you're not trying to prioritize 6 Golden Ox, and you try to play around like a strong stage 3, rolling every turn with Graves, activating Golden Ox. This composition did get nerfed a little bit by Sterix getting worse, but it does seem to be like the artifact composition. Everyone opens up Portable Forge, they look to see if they have a Grave spot, and see if they can play it. You open up Trenchcoat, you open up any of the really strong ones for Graves. So, what are your thoughts on this composition?
I think it is like completely dominating the mid game with or without artifact. It just does some crazy things in like stage 3, slightly early stage 4. Ends up falling off a cliff later if you don't have like the god setup. And ends up just taking like a humble like 3rd to 5th most of the time. But if you have like some of these artifact combos that just like steamrolls a lobby and you like end up either going like 2nd or like 1st with like 60 HP, I think it probably deserves a nerf. I think it's only OP with the artifacts, but there's actually like you actually cannot miss. I mean you can, but it's like there's just so many hits with them. Like there's like the trench coat, there's the trench coat build, there's the fact that Wit's End and Titanic Hydra.
Yeah, Titanic
Both
Hydra,
proc
the new
5
augment.
both proc 5 times every time Graves autos because that just is fun and happens. And then there's also just all the other good melee artifacts that just are always good, like Mittens, DD, and I guess Spectral. But
Everyone's favorite Spectral Cutlass.
I don't think Spectral's that good, but like it's decent on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so many combos, and he just like especially the Titanic Hydra and Wit's End just completely just steamroll stage 2 and stage 3. The damage is just ridiculous.
Yeah, even at 1-star, you can just I've like had 3 streak on 1-star Graves, 1-star Alistar, 1-star Mundo, like nothing special because I had the artifact. And then by the time you double pump, maybe you hit the Graves too, and then all of a sudden you like 10 streaks. So the game's just over at that point.
It feels like something from like the old days of TFT. Like I feel like this interaction where like Graves procs item effects 5 times is like something that would happen, and
right.
Like
the horror stories we talk about years later.
Yeah, like set 1 or something. But it just feels like the unit was so bad for so long that like stuff like this just like slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, and then that's not to say about like the headache of being on the wrong side.
Yeah.
So like you position and then Graves just flips over you, because the reason why we position like this is because Graves, if he attacks, he's a 2-range unit. So if he attacks the unit in front of Jarvan, he actually jumps over Jarvan and the unit he's attacking, and then potentially can flip around and hit the top corner unit. And so you sometimes have Graves immediately jump onto the back line. I mean, if you played the patch, you already know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, you ideally against this, you just are opposite side. But if you have to be same side, anti-size positioning is like around the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a guarantee, because even anti-size positioning, if your like main tank dies too fast, it ends up like hitting like maybe your unit in like the middle or something.
Yeah.
But that's usually the best you can do, and you can like counter with like super strong front lines. I found that like playing as or versus Graves, like the Bruiser Mundo techie frontline is like really, really good against this.
Yep. And to clarify, just talking about 2 from the side. So instead of putting a unit, like just make sure you have no units right in front of this Jarvan and Alistar, and you're 2 from away, because it would also stop Sejuani's ult from hitting as well.
Yeah, pretend like you're playing a normal board, like with your Vex in the corners, your carry against the Graves, like you want your main tank where the Rost is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Any other comps from the AT here? Dynamo got nerfed, Anima. We still have Cypher here because Cypher's just BS still. And then Gorilla. Out of these remaining comps here, which one's your favorite?
I don't know. I think the Dynamo Fest side's kind of fun. I don't really know how good it is anymore, but I think if you can make it to this board, if you make it to this board, it's obviously really, really good. It's just like a question of like how you're really getting there. Because I think the board with like the Braum on level 8 is just gonna fall off super hard, because they did nerf I think all levels of Dynamo.
Yeah, they did.
Thing is, like, no one's playing
front line a lot.
Yeah. No one's playing MF or Zera anymore, so you can hit MF2 for free most games. But if you're not making it to 9 playing around these 5 costs, it's like it's pretty hard for this comp. Like the Braum board is just not that good.
I think one thing that's challenging right now is that a lot of people don't know what to do with AP items if they get dropped AP and they can't reroll, right? There's obviously some AP reroll lines you can play, and so a lot of people will feel like, oh well, I'll just play like Elise Dynamo again. Is that a trap?
I don't love the Elise, like the Elise Braum reroll. Yeah, I mean AP items are just in a weird spot. Like it's either you go 9, you play app, or you like make 80 items out of them. You turn you
Like your
sack for a bit, and then
rage blades
yeah,
and
it's like
stuff
a
like
rage
that.
blade vow called a day.
Yeah.
If you play an Exotech buddy.
All right.
It's yeah. I really don't like the AP trees. It's like so bad.
Yeah, I was talking about it as well on my stream actually today. I was kind of just
Yeah,
hating
I
on
saw I saw you talking. It reminded me.
yeah, about the strategist, the way everything's kind of centered around specifically like the Nico front line, and because of how basically Cho'Gath failed as like a flexible tank, kind of leaves you very very few options based on how everything's structured. Okay, well, let's not focus too much on the trade structure stuff. Is there an underrated comp out of all of this, or maybe an overrated comp that you want to talk about? Because we could spend here all the time, but we're going to wrap up this section with one more talking point that you want to bring up about any of the comps in B and C tier.
Oh,
Or
I think this LeBlanc rule is like, I mean, it's averaging a straight fucking, or sorry, it's averaging a straight like 5.5, but it passes like it like giga passes the eye test for me.
like no mana Zane LeBlanc, right?
Like the build you have here. I really like Shojin, what's it called? Void Staff +1. I think the last time can be like JG. She gets a lot of AP from like Cypher, so it's like the last time super like you can go Gunblade. I think Gunblade is usually what you want if you get to 5 Cypher. But I don't know. Like I played a game of this board, and my whole chat was confused. Like, what are you doing? Rerolling the blog, and then it just won out. I do think a key to this line to like actually succeed is Galio 3. He's a complete menace. I think if you don't get Galio 3, it might be a little sus, but typically like you should really only be playing this from like some kind of leveraged econ spot, say like a portal or like a good Cypher cache with a lot of duplicators, or like some like reroll augment like Shop Glitch. But I do think if you can get to Galio 3, LeBlanc 3, this comp feels really, really good to me, and I think it's like definitely kind of flying under the radar right now.
Yeah, I was watching a Chinese streamer and they played this 3 games in a row, and they tried to force like the 250 specific cash out to get the duplicators because they need that econ to hit everything in order to get like LeBlanc 3, Galio 3 really fast online. So it is very powerful if you get it. And it's interesting because everyone says, oh, you need the mana Zane. And honestly, we should just remove that. It's just like telling people the wrong message. You can play LeBlanc without it. I think it's a good shout. Okay, my shout out is, man, this Frost hero augment, I'm not sure how you hit it because it feels like everyone wants to play Frost with the Vanguard lines, but somehow you do get it. And when it does, it actually kind of cooks now. I don't know if you've seen it, but the buffs to Frost hero augment actually feel pretty real.
Yeah, I've like lost to it a couple times. I'm gonna need to see this more and see if I can actually like win a game. Because like you bring up like a lot of concerns because this Ross scene is like extremely contested. So
it's like chug bug. Like people go chug bug, and I'm like, bro, how are you ever hitting this unit?
I literally had like the best chug bug spot of all time. Like I'm serious. Like I like 100 streak into wolves, and I'm like, oh, there's 6 Ragas players. I can't play this. I have to go fast 9, and then I'm fast 9 with chug bug. It's like a 4th. Like what can I do?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I didn't fast 9. I win streaked, and I was like, you know what?
And then you're stuck 7 you're stuck 7 the whole game.
Yes, I was stuck 7 the whole game. I had heroic grab bag, Gragas 2, right? And everything was going great. I found 1 Gragas for the rest of the game. I literally ended the game on 4 Gragas with 2 dupes on my bench. I was just like, what is happening? This is unbelievable. And I rolled before everyone else too, so it was just a silly game. Everyone's looking for this unit, man.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. Like I don't know. Like I was like, oh, I have hero grab bag. I like natural a bunch of Moors. Yeah, maybe I just go Moor 3 in like the 7 exo line. And it's like, oh, I'm just like never going 9 because I'm just holding all these Moors on bench for the chance I hit on level 8. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like going for these super contested unit 3 stars is just not the play.
All right, so that ends our meta analysis segment. Let's go ahead and hop on over to a quick pop quiz. All right, Dishsoap, don't worry. Actually, this pop quiz is a little interesting. It actually goes over some of our topics we covered already in this episode. So if you were kind of like paying attention, which I think you're pretty astute about it, you might even get some hints about it. You ready?
Let's see. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Question number 1. We talked about Graves is really good with a bunch of artifacts, but there is one artifact that is statistically the best out of all of them. Let's say you get like the 4 best ones. What is the best one statistically out of all the ideal 4 if you open up Portable Forge?
I believe it's Titanic Hydra, but it might, like, depending on the filters, it might be Wits End. I do believe Titanic Hydra is like the number 1 overall artifact, but I think like actually not that many people like actually go Wits End on him because it's like people think it's an AP item. So I think the sample might be small enough to like skew it. I'll just give bonus points for naming the top 4. It's I think it's Titanic 1, Wits End 2, Trenchcoat 3, Mittens 4. And you might as well just say DD5, Cutlass 6. It's either Cutlass or Triforce 6, and then one of the other ones 7. But I don't actually know exactly what number 1 is.
I mean, so you're locking in Titanic.
I do believe Titanic is the strongest one.
Okay, copy. So you named all of the top 7 correct, so you have that down pat, and you do have the top 2 correct. Wits End performs a little bit better by a 10th, but I actually believe it's exactly what you described as well. My rationale is that it's like a good player buff. Like the good players know it's good, so they'll pick it and play it. Versus everyone knows Titanic Hydra is good, and they'll just like play it and force it. So the good players are the ones that are buffing up the Wits End stats.
Yeah, I do think Titanic is better though.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, question number 2. Static Shift got buffed. So that is an artifact that now works off your AP, and of course, theoretically good on attack speed. Who is the best non-5 cost holder of it? Because if you look at the stats, it's all the 5 costs, of course, right? Like Aurora and all of them. Who's the best holder that isn't just like a 5 cost late game?
I believe you wouldn't ask me that question if the answer was TF, because TF is like obviously the unit that like makes the most sense with this because he's attack speed and gains a lot of AP. I remember checking an artifact anvil when I got this, and it actually looked pretty good on the unit I'm gonna say is the answer. Is Zyra in Mundo Techie, but I don't actually think it's better than it should. Like, it should just be better on TF, but I remember saying it was like really good on Zyra, and I don't think you would ask me this question if the answer was TF. So I'm just gonna say it's Zyra.
It is Twisted Fate. Why would I? I'm just. It's people don't know this stuff.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm just throwing you down the middle.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's clearly gonna go for a crazy curveball, but I mean, I have yet to see it though. Have you seen it actually played in game on Twisted Fate or any other?
Yeah, I've seen people take it. Okay, I don't know if this is allowed in pop quiz, but Zyra actually does perform better with it. It's just like giga low sample.
Oh, I must have not caught my filter on it. Like when you're talking about low sample, is it like 100?
It's like 300 games.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I tried to like get like 1,000.
But like it's not actually better. It's just like noise. It's probably because like part of like the prismatic forge augment just performs really well on Mundo. And that's just something you pick up on like 4-1.
Right. Makes sense.
So I think TF is probably the best answer, but it is something you can pick up in the in Techie probably just because I guess like a way to put this is it scales really well off AP more than attack speed. I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. This is somewhat of a related question, which is the Ross Hero Augment got buffed. What is his craftable best in slot?
Ross craftable BS?
Yeah, like no artifact.
Well, I mean, you should it on TFT Academy. I'm just going to assume that was the craftable visits, i.e. Hodge Hodge. However, I would not be surprised if it was like i.e. like Sterex Hodge maybe, because I mean Sterex is just generally a good item, but
yeah.
Let's just say i.e. Hodge Hodge, the TFT Academy Abyss is the best.
Yes. It is, you actually got exactly right. So it's IE Hodge Hodge is like the buildable BIS based on popularity, but I believe a lot of people are saying that the actual BIS is Sterex Gauge because the way it interacts with Ross in particular. So you actually caught both in terms of like, because it depends on how you filter it. But I would believe that Sterex Gauge is also extremely good on him.
Yeah, I think you like with stuff like that, you kind of just need like 3 items ASAP. So
yeah, exactly.
And then you just hope to get like slightly better items in the late game with your removers. Nicely
done. Nothing gets by you, champ. Okay. Question 4. This one is actually basically in theme with what we're talking about. Not only does Static Shift get buffed, the Indomitable, which is another artifact, got buffed. Who is the best holder of Indomitable? It's pretty much just like one unit that's actually good with it. Everything else is kind of mediocre.
That's
Who's the
fascinating.
unit that holds it?
One unit?
From what I've gathered, of course, I try to filter
No,
like
no,
with like
no,
at least 1,000 games. If it's like 50 games, I can't really.
No, I believe you, but it just doesn't really make sense to me because it's just a tank item. I guess I mean I want to say Leona because she's just the best tank, and like maybe the slowdown effect from the item is like more relevant on the like because for example like units like Sedge, it's probably not that good on her because like she might miss a cast if she can't walk up. But I think Leona can cast from any range, and she doesn't really do any damage, so you just want her tanking anyways. Like same thing with like Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath's just bad. I don't think the item gives that many good Cho'Gath stats. So I'm. Why would it be? Why would it? I guess like Jarvan can't rush into range, so it's bad on him. Should be good on like Braum. I don't know why I wouldn't. Like maybe he misses the melees because he's Syndicate and needs the melee. I guess same thing with Vi. Why would it be bad on Skarner? I have no clue. But maybe I mean Skarner's just not good. And there's like the 5 cost. None of the. I mean maybe it's good on Zac. Who knows? So like in my mind, yeah, I guess it's just Leona or Zac. But maybe it's not good on Zac. Who knows?
It is. I'm just gonna reveal it to you right now because I realized my screen is up. It is Zac. Not Zac actually performs really well with it, and I'm guessing it's because his blobs might have some crazy interactions with it, like if it splits and then does.
It just goes in the backline and it like pulls stuff in the middle. Okay. I can see that.
So yeah, I was like,
I need to try that.
Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy if you can get it on him. So because there's also like other stats if you lower it, but it's like for Nectin, like okay, whatever.
Yeah, bro, no, it's for Nectin.
All right,
some fake news.
Okay, and the final one, this one, not an item related question, is what is the worst performing 3-star 3 cost? The only side note I want to add, it's not really a hint, but it actually performs worse than a 3-star 2 cost. Or sorry, a 2-star 3 cost.
2-star.
So basically, if you stack by star level ranking, every best performing 3 cost is a 3-star variation, except this one is so bad it's worse than a 2-star 3 cost in terms of AVP.
I don't know. Is it just Rengar? The other ones are just good units, or is it Fiddlesticks? No, but like you're only playing Fiddlesticks from like Fiddlesticks is actually good from some spots. I don't think Rengar is like ever good. But like I don't know, is that even true? Like Shopper's Rengar can low-key like go third. I personally just think Rengar is the worst. It's either Rengar or Fiddle. I'll just say Rengar.
Rengar is correct. You can get an additional point. Can you name the 2-star 3 cost that outperforms Rengar in AVP?
2-star 3 cost?
Yes.
Jarvan? Or no, wait, no. There's too many Gox players. Sorry.
All right. I'll let you revise it.
Oh, that's actually. Oh, Mord, I guess. And that's probably something that no one plays.
You're locking in.
Fuck. Okay, I'm actually not very confident on this, so whatever. Like, whatever the answer is the answer. I'll say Mord.
The answer is Gragas. Gragas does better as a 2-star 3 cost than Rengar. It's really it's actually pretty funny. I was looking at it. It's like, dang, okay.
Yeah, right, I mean, Gragas goes on Fast 9 board. It goes on the Graves board. Makes sense.
Yep, pretty stable. Okay, so not a bad pop quiz at all. Let's go ahead and get into our crash course and teach you very quickly how to play a comp more in depth. Okay, so we actually talked a little bit about it, but we got a lot of requests to talk about Golden Ox because I think a lot of people feel like when they play it, it feels like they're struggling. When their opponents are playing it, they're always getting to the back line and just like winning the game. So real quick on the Golden Ox Graves, what do you think? I think people know how to play it from like an opener. Like you have a Graves and you have good melee items for him, things like Asterisk Gauge, Quicksilver components, Artifact, etc. But what do you think are some like common mistakes people make when they're approaching playing this line?
I think like you can't proc the Graves thing you can't proc the Golden Ox every turn. Like it's important to like weave in the procs, and ideally you're never rolling down if you can't proc it, but you really should be in a spot where you like build up your econ to around like 60-ish gold, and like then you start rolling, and then if you can like start like slow rolling for the procs, it just gets insane. But obviously, like you need to be somewhat stable to do that. So it's just a balance of like you definitely need like the I don't know. I actually don't play this that much, but you definitely just need to be like on point with your like sides. Probably only playing this if you can actually like get like a 2-item graves at least on stage 3, probably more. Uh, and maybe like you don't want to kill your econ every turn to roll for the procs. Like you still want to like slow roll.
Yep, that's good pointers. I would say that there's a couple of like basic tips. So you do want to try and activate 2 procs of Golden Ox before your 3-2 turn. So what a really common thing to do is to pre-level on 3-1. So that way you can roll on 3-2 for the Graves 2 and not miss an interval. And that's really important because with Golden Ox, it's one of those things where if you miss sequence, then you're either going to be behind on stacks or you're going to feel bad for rolling when you already have stacks, but then you miss your tempo window to upgrade your Graves, which kind of like reduces your ability to print more gold. It's a snowball mechanic. So you have to make sure you play every turn pretty methodically. So there's a lot of people who I think mismanage that. Is one of the things I think is worth highlighting. The other thing too is that I think with stage 3, it's actually a lot more fluid than people think it is. I think a lot of people feel like they have to always play, for example, Executioner. And I think that's one mistake. When I'm playing the comp, I see a lot of people like, why are you not making Rengar 2? And I'm like, that's 9 gold. That's like really expensive. That's not going to help me even win and snowball. I'd rather just play like, more upgraded front lines so that way my Graves can actually get to the back line and not get targeted. Yep. So that's another tip that I would probably throw a lot of people's way.
I think my prio for stage 3 is like I don't even think you're supposed to play Executioner on level 6. I think you're legit always supposed to like play 4 Gold Nox and then max out your Jarvan traits. Because if your Jarvan has Slayer and Vanguard, he's just gonna stay alive, and then Bruiser helps with that as well. And you kind of just want to like stay alive because your team does a bunch of damage anyways. If you have 4 Gold Nox, you usually end up like either dropping Senna or the Gragas. But that kind of means like you're only fitting Executioner on like level 8, which like sounds weird on an Executioner unit, but I actually think it's fine. You get so much damage from Gold Nox anyways, 4 Gold Nox, and your Jarvan can pop off. Also, just like I feel like I should mention this. It's not the default positioning we have now, but there are like there's like a positioning tech where you like put both of your team you have 8 units on your board and you just put them both like one side of your team on one side and one side of your team on the other side. I don't really know exactly why. Well, the reason is like because you can make their front line like spread out and then more easily dash to the back line that way. But like from practice, my Graves has done some like extremely weird dashes doing this, and I felt like an idiot doing this. But like I was just doing it because I was seeing like Graves one tricks on ladder doing it. But
is it something like this? Like
no, it's way more extreme. Like take the Alistar, put it in like C7. Like it's like this, and then you mirror.
Okay,
like you have 8 units, and you put four here and then 4 here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then you quick swap the it's I don't know. Like some rounds for me it works, and then some rounds like the Graves literally like Bluetooth dashes across the map, ends up in some like horrendous spot, and then dies for free. I don't know. I'm just like copying people. I don't really understand why they would do it, but like I've seen people like default position like this.
Yep.
Very often. I don't know. I don't feel confident in it, so we don't have it on the site. But I would feel bad if I didn't mention it.
I would hesitate to recommend it because I feel like it could easily backfire.
Yeah, I have seen the crazy like I played one game of only doing this, and I've seen the craziest grave dashes. Like there was this one time where I think I had like with Alistar, I had Annie and Aphelios like in the Alistar Aphelios X's, and I think the Aphelios like walked up one to the left or something. So it left like the complete corner open. And what happened was this guy's Aurora, like his Aurora like teleports when she does her ult. This Aurora teleported to the corner hex, like that I left over my team. My Graves dashes to the Aurora because he's on the backline. He dashes from their backline to my cubby, and then he's just trapped. He went from their backline to like a
Your backline.
trapped behind by Eddie and the affiliates, and I lost to that. It was the crazy shit I've ever seen.
Is that on YouTube? I need to
No,
see
no,
that.
I played it
You need to
off. I
snip it.
played it off stream, but it was I don't. And like that was like that
That's
was the only
crazy.
thing. Like if you want to see your Graves do some weird shit, do this.
So it ended up like this.
Yes,
That's so funny.
it's actually
That's
cinema.
funny. All right. A couple other tips for me. I think don't be afraid to stack Graves with items that don't make sense for him in the late game. So if you have, for example, like Graves doesn't actually really want to hold onto like rod or bow items very often, but you could put Rage Blade him early and just move that to Aphelios, for example. That actually doubles for anything else that you put on backline or even tank. Like if you just like have Graves too, and you have, if, let's say you somehow get 4 belts and you just make Warmogs, you can just put Warmogs on Graves as well. Just stack them. Just the most important thing is that he has items, and I think that's one thing that people, if you're like new or intermediate to the composition, I see a lot of people making those kinds of mistakes.
I would say though, like be careful with this. Is like you should slam whatever you have on Graves to be strong in the mid game, but you shouldn't build items that are like bad in the late game that are like you can make right now. For example, I don't think Titans is very good on him. I don't think Hodge is very good on him, but you might get like might want to build them. But like the thing is, like even if you like move them to units like game, it's like they don't really have a home unless you hit like exactly Jarvan 3, because those items are not very good on Jarvan 2. You know, they just have tank items. So I think like backline 80 items, moving them to like your center or your fellows is really good, because your Graves can use that in the minigame. That's fine. I think tank items are good, but I would like steer clear of the of like Titan's Hodge in particular.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to use tiers 2 effectively.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'll say like Hodge is like maybe you can make it if you don't have QSS yet, but I think QSS is like actually like so needed that you cannot kill the glove. But like I guess like Hodge is like not that bad on Aphelios or Jarvan, so I like maybe not or like Vex, but I will say you should not be making this Titans item.
Agreed. Just maybe in general.
Yeah. I mean, the Titans item, like there's just no users this set besides Rengar.
What are the mega augments? Hit me with 3 mega augments where you're like, hell yeah, I'm playing Graves.
The best ones are just all of the artifact augments. So like, Latent Forge, Portable Forge, then the Prismatic Living Forge. Yeah.
Okay, that was too easy.
Well, okay, then I consider that as like one.
Okay, got it.
This I mean, you really just want like item augments as well. Like replication, not really. Nah, that's not like bits. Like just anything. Like when I'm playing this, I'm just looking for items mostly.
Would you take Pandora's with Graves?
Pandora's items, yeah, sure. I think it's like fine on 2-1. I would say that's like, I really don't think anything is Giga besides artifacts.
I see a lot of people take Golden Fleece. What do you think about this?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's like broken or anything. I think if you like high roll like other stuffs about this game, like this can just go crazy. But I think like if you are playing default Graves and you just have Golden Fleece and that's it, it's like I don't know, it's not that good.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to I know people say bad luck protection's pretty good on him, even though he's an executioner, but I would like to see like the math on that. But like that's just like what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming blank. I'm really just looking for like artifacts on this.
Maybe you could justify a little bit of econ as well. I've seen people take heroic grab bag and try it and hit quickly. Mainly because heroic grab bag not just to do is but get you the gold early to make your interest threshold, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah,
one thing I do want to also point out, just in case people don't know, because I recognize some people have maybe never played this yet still, is that free rerolls don't count towards Golden Ox. So if you do take something like rolling for days, just keep in mind that you're actually not going to activate it. In fact, I believe I actually played that literally today, and I used my rolling for days, and I hit so hard. I went from 50 to 20, but I didn't proc my Golden Ox that turn. So I was like, it's fine. I ended up winning that game, but it was pretty funny to see that.
Yeah, like with Golden Ox, it's kind of hard for there to be like any insane combat. Because like you just want to hit like early and you want your units to be itemized. And it's just like really hard to like snowball with the combat augments because like they're balanced around like being strong late game on late game boards, but
Yeah.
you already kind of have that insurance with like the gold knock scaling itself. So you just want stuff that's like stronger immediately, which is basically just items and econ.
Okay, so that is our crash course on how to play Graves. I think Graves is actually kind of fun. I know he's like kind of cringe when he gets to your back line, just feels like frustrating to deal with, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's really satisfying to get onto the enemy back line.
I think it is a perfectly balanced and fair comp if you didn't put any artifacts on him. But then the artifacts come and then it just turns into
just cheating.
It just turns into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Fair enough. I think that's just what like a lot of 2-cost melee reroll ends up being.
Yeah.
A lot of days.
I really hope like someday there's some looking at these artifacts because there's just so many ones that are just like bound to be broken on some kind of melee at some point.
Yep. And if not, they'll like buff it until it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's wrap it up with our final stage, the question of the day. All right, we got a question from how to play around things like worth the wait if you aren't trying to re-roll it. So how do we play something like worth the wait if you get something that is traditionally for re-roll? So if you get like Dr. Mundo off of worth the wait, people say, oh, that's the gorilla. Or even you get something like a Jason, like a Zyra. How do you approach that? Are you willing to try and even think about re-roll, or are you always pushing levels? And how do you like innovate off of that?
In my opinion, it's like almost never correct to roll for 3-star with worth the wait. Roll for other 3-stars rather for worth the wait, just because like you already have like the guaranteed like timer, and you really should just be looking to play like you should just be looking to play the accelerated version of whatever. Like you should either be looking to sell the unit later for tempo or play some like default comp. Like for example, if you get like Seraphine, you can just play Anima, for example. Even though that's like Seraphine reroll into Anima is not a normal line, but like the fact that you can 3-star makes it somewhat normal. Or if you get something that like really only works at a reroll comp, like say Kog'Maw, you can just play an accelerated version of that kind of reroll comp where like yeah, you're not going to get any 3-stars, but like 2-star 6 Vanguard Leona is going to be a pretty good tank, and then you can probably push 9 for like the Zaya for like 3 Anima marksman with the Kindred or whatever, and then that should be like an easy top 3, top 4. And like for example with your Mundo example, you can just play the standard Bruiser Techie board, but instead of going for 3-star Seraphine, 3-star Zyra as your carries, you can just go for like Brand, and then you can go 9 for like Viego and Kabuko. That comp is really good on level 9, but generally you're just getting there really, really late with the 1 cost. But if you don't have to roll, you can get there pretty fast. So yeah, I would just play like default comps that like fit the units in as trade bots. Or if like there's a reroll comp that does fit it in, just like try to play an accelerated version of that.
Are you supposed to sell the units for econ after 3-star, or do you go for the 4-star?
I think you are the only one you're supposed to keep. Okay, I don't know about Mundo. I know you're supposed to keep Shaco, because like that comp literally has like no late game, like almost no late game potential at all. So like you're not even like killing your level 8, level 9 by like holding the extra Shacos on bench. So you might as well just go for Shaco 4 in that case. But the only other one I think that would maybe be worth it is Mundo, because just his HP scaling is ridiculous, and maybe the Bruiser Techie board level 9 is cheap enough to justify it. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're supposed to sell that too.
There does just a quick aside. Does Greater Moonlight show up in match history as a 4-star?
No.
Okay, so the best performing 4-star 1 cost is Nidalee, and I think that's probably because either you have it for something like Amp, or you had it on Nitro. In either of those situations, Nidalee is pretty insane as well.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Like it's really hard to say because like it's gonna have really good average placement just because it means you're like in stage 6, and you're always You're, like if you're stage 6 with Nidalee 4, like you probably mean something went right. But it doesn't. That doesn't mean you're supposed to like keep it just because that's a good average placement. Because for example, with Amp, I could definitely see spots where you could use the extra like 18 gold to go 9, right?
Yeah, and hit extra Zach or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty huge.
So I would try to play it spot by spot, but like for me, I end up selling unless it's like exactly Shaco. That's kind of how I play it. but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Nidalee or Munder you can keep.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. And technically, he did ask about Build a Bud, but I'm assuming everything you said also applies.
Yeah, but Build a Bud worth. I think you should play Build a Bud and Worth the Wait like almost the exact same.
Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, just like that, another episode in the books. So when are we going to be seeing you next? Dishsoap, you said that you were going to take the next cup off, just kind of relax a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be streaming every day. Every day.
Yeah, even if it's one game.
No, I played 2 games today.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You played 2 games.
I went 7-8. Yeah, I was streaming every day until regionals is over, which is like almost the rest of the month.
Rest of the month, yep.
Yeah.
And then regionals, and then worlds. Congrats on qualifying for regionals via ladder again. So
yay, free ladder slot. Yay.
So yeah, I guess we got you have time, because I was worried about like you going from back to back events. But
I hope I can earn my world slots again. I mean, last time I got the free buy, I was able to make it like normally. I hope I can do that again.
All right, I'm down for that as well. And then you know what? I'm also okay if you win worlds again one more time.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I'm down to that. Win it at Atlanta. Win it at Atlanta as well. Should be more hype.
All right, sounds good. Just a clean sweep in 2025. All right, thank you so much for everyone who support TFTAcademy.
I also got the second crown. I can send you a picture of it.
Oh yes,
I can't wear. I put them on for this one picture, and I'm not putting them both on again. It like hurts so much.
Oh, okay, yeah. If it hurts, don't do it too much. But I'm down to see the picture next time.
Oh no, I can just see the picture now.
Okay. Well, we'll have it edited in. How about that?
Yeah.
Just send me the photo, and we'll just edit it in right now, literally over this episode. All right. Thank you to everyone who supports. If you are watching either on YouTube or Spotify, please either subscribe, give us 5 stars, like it, do something to try to engage with it. Helps us spread the word, because I think people don't really even know that TFT podcast exists, and it's a really good way for us to catch up. Our next episode will be probably our last episode, at least just covering things competitively, because it'll be the regionals patch / the worlds patch. So make sure you guys tune into that. Other than that, set 14 is almost in the books, and we'll be looking forward to set 15 pretty soon. So I hope you guys are ready for the end of Cyber City. But that's it for this episode from Frodan and Dishsoap. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time for more TFT action.
See ya.